Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this video as quick as possible because my battery's flashing and I want to do it before the sun sets. My last video was my favorite reads of 2025. This video is going to be my book awards for books released in 2025. This was a very good year for publishing, and there's so many different books I read from all sorts of genres that I definitely want to recommend to you guys. So without further ado, let's jump in. I'm going to start off strong first with Best Romantasy. Even though I did not read much romance or fantasy this year, Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross definitely takes the cake. I love this woman so much. I have read every single one of her books. I also got to see her on her Divine Rivals tour. Her River Enchanted duology is my favorite, but this is an absolutely stunning prequel in the Divine Rivals world. If you liked her writing, it's so lyrical, so cozy, it's perfect for a cold night in. Please pick up Wild Reverence. I don't know if you necessarily need to read the Divine Rivals duology, but I guess it is encouraged. But yes, this one's Best Romantasy for me. Also, I will say it did get me out of reading slump, which I also enjoyed. So there's that one. Okay, my next book I'm going to recommend is my best translated fiction that was published in 2025, and that I'm giving to Summer Heat by Daphne Suman. This is a Turkish translated fiction. This was such an interesting book. It is dual timeline with 1974 and 2003. I never heard anything about this. I literally picked it up off a table at Daunt Books in London before I went to Slovenia in September, and it just completely hit the mark. This is sort of the timeline of this art historian's childhood during the Turkish invasion of Cyprus and then her adulthood in 2003. Yes, we follow her journey unraveling secrets about her family past and future. Part of my little snippet of my review, it says, the protagonist is a boldly complex and realistic character navigating grief, parent-child relationships, love, and passion. I also love the featured landscapes of Istanbul, Athens, and Cyprus as they play characters themselves threaded into the identity of the story. I was utterly captivated. So that's my best translated fiction of 2025. Continuing on the Turkish author trajectory, we have my best short story collection, which is Long Distance. As someone that doesn't always particularly love short stories collections, I really enjoyed this. I didn't think there was a single miss in this collection. They call it a masterful and tender debut collection of stories from the acclaimed author of The Anthropologist about distance and closeness in the age of connectivity. This kind of revolves a lot about travel and connectivity in the time of the digital age. I really enjoyed this, so highly recommend for a collection of short stories. I went to find the next book and it was behind me this whole time. Classic. My next award is for Best Romance. Again, as someone that doesn't read romance, there's not that many to choose from this year. However, there was a clear winner, One Golden Summer. I love this. I love how Carly is able to exude Canadian summers through her work. This was fantastic. No crazy stakes, no silly drama. It involved kindness and friendship and love, and I couldn't ask for anything more. This was my ideal summer Canadian romance, and I just recommend to everybody. It was so cute. My next book I'm going to give to is Best Sci-Fi, and I'm giving this to Terrestrial History by Jo Mungo Reid. I don't have the book here. It was a digital ARC, and it really took me by surprise with how much I enjoyed it. It takes a bit to get into that physics jargon, even though I was past tense a physics major, and it could be janky at times, but once you got into the flow of it, it really hooked me. And it was just such a fascinating, it's a multi-generational dystopian sci-fi time traveling epic. It wasn't that long either, but yes, I really enjoyed it. Also in my review I said, while it does have the epicness of a science fiction novel, it is balanced with moments of despair, of hope, and of candid relationships between parents and children. Underlined by the realities of a desecrated earth and the desire to have a new perfect world beyond, or alternatively go back in time to save the one we have, makes this journey precariously present and overwhelmingly relevant to today. I feel like this book is quite underrated. I definitely recommend it to everybody if you're looking for a sci-fi read, so check it out. Okay, I am sorry that this video is ending on my phone. However, I just wanted to finish filming it. The sun is literally about to set. My camera's dead. I know, I'm a bad YouTuber. My next one was Most Entertaining, and I think this is what I was filming before it died. That is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Listen, this is a romance, friends to lovers to enemies to lovers to I don't even know. It is about these two Olympic figure skaters. I read this when I went to Mexico in February, but I finished it literally at the airport before we even got on the plane to get there. It was so entertaining. It was like reality TV in a book. Maybe I do need to read more fun, silly romance fiction more often. It's not just all devastating reads, but I would argue this was most entertaining for the year. So pretty epic. After most entertaining, I'm gonna go to most lived up to the hype, and that is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. No surprise, I absolutely love this. I've loved every single prequel thus far to the Hunger Games series, and her writing is so poignant and significant for today. I don't know why I didn't include this in my favorites of 2025, because it actually kind of was. My review of this was back in March. I finished Sunrise on the Reaping a few days ago, and it is absolutely seared into my brain. Of course, connecting the world, characters, and events to its predecessor and original trilogy was an experience on its own, but the deeper commentary regarding propaganda and manipulation of art to serve this authoritarian government made this book resonate with me in a way similar to The Handmaid's Tale in 1984. Suzanne knew exactly what this world needed to hear in 2025 and made this statement in an accessible way to span her entire audience. Powerful, chilling, and timely. So yes, this definitely lived up to the hype. The next category, Best LGBTQ Reads. I have two. It's a tie. A Language of Limbs by Dylan Hardcastle and Open Heaven by Sean Hewitt. This one I talked about in like my favorites of the year, but A Language of Limbs also is very close to that. This is just an absolutely gorgeous coming of age, cusp of adulthood. What does it mean to love? And what are different types of love? Just gorgeously written. Obviously, I love Sean. And Dylan Hardcastle, this is a gorgeous book. This is sort of a 1970s queer coming of age, and it is set in Australia. This is tender and heartbreaking and resilient. It embraces the concept of community to its core and demonstrates how family is built with love and not blood, is what I said in my review. This was so beautiful. Insane debut, I must say. So definitely pick this one up as well. I can see it's literally so dark outside. We're gonna power through the book I will think about for a long time. That is going to Catabasis, whatever you want to call it. This just really made me think, made me perplexed, and I really liked the way it made the gears in my brain turn. So that is all I'm going to say about this. I've raved about it in my favorites. Everyone's talking about this book, but I will think about this book for a long time. My favorite debuts, I am going to give it to, of course, Slanting Towards the Sea by Lydia Hilly. And I'm going to also give it to The Irish Goodbye by Heather Amy O'Neill. I've already previously talked about this one in my favorites of 2025 video of how much I love this, and it is spent 20 years and one life-altering summer in Croatia. It is beautifully written literary fiction. I love the complexity of the protagonist and her relationships with her ex-husband and her family and herself. It is just a perfect summer read to read on the ocean and the beach along the Mediterranean Sea. Also wins probably my favorite cover of the year too. Let's just say that, favorite cover of the year as well. Sorry, we're gonna do 3 favorite debuts. Dylan Hardcastle, Language of Limbs. And then the third one is The Irish Goodbye by Heather Amy O'Neill. This is a literary fiction, and it's about 3 adult sisters who reunite over Thanksgiving as they grapple with a shared tragedy. And they deal with strained family bonds through the passage of time. If you love a book about sister relationships and grief and complex family dynamics and secrets, this was really wonderful. I don't really want to relate it to Blue Sisters, but it is about these 3 siblings that are sharing grief. So that's all I'm going to say about this, but I really enjoyed her writing, and I love those family dynamic. Anyways, those are my 3 favorite debut authors of 2025. And my final 2 categories is second to last one is I would recommend to anyone, even those who don't like to read. I have 2 books for this. I think very similar to most people in the world. My Friends by Frederick Bachman and Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, which I currently don't have because I'm loaning it to a friend. Wild Dark Shore, pretend it's here right now. I've loved Charlotte's writing for very many years. I love how environmentally charged the sort of climate change literature she does. I found Wild Dark Shore was gripping and fast-paced and just darkly thrilling, and no wonder everyone's loving it as much as they do. I recommend all her work, but Wild Dark Shore is an incredible book. The other one, My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I've talked about this also in my favorites of 2025, and this is his first written in English book. The rest are all translated from Swedish. I just also find his work is so tender, and it really grips your heart and your soul and just like rips it to shreds sometimes. This book is just utterly phenomenal, and it is a quick recap of what I said in my other one. My other video, but My Friends is a testament to the fearlessness of childhood, the influence of grief, and the fervor of art. At its core, it's a story about love between friends, lovers, parents, and siblings. It's about acts of love and everything we do in our power to keep them alive. This and Wild Dark Shore, definitely two favorites. And then the final category before it's literally pitch black is, I'm gonna say best overall 2025 release, and I will be giving that to Wild Dark Shore. So amazing, and I know some people didn't like all of it, but I am a Charlotte McConaughey stan through and through. I have loved all three of her books. It like really can't be topped. I don't know what to say. So anyways, I am officially illuminated by my laptop, so sorry. I'm also finishing this on my iPhone. I'm a bit of a mess. I hope you enjoyed these book awards, and let me know what your favorite books that were released in this year were. I'd love to hear. Oh, I also forgot to mention my 2025 books I regret not getting to. So I'm gonna read these out really quickly. I'm not gonna explain them. I'm just gonna literally getting dark out. Let me just read through these really quickly. Heart the Lover, Loved One, The Sunflower Boys, The Artist, The Emperor of Gladness, The Bright Years, Nova Scotia House, Tiny Things Are Heavier, Bittersweet, Memorial Days, Book of Lives, Broken Country, These Summer Storms, and A Theory of Dreaming. So those are all the books I regret not getting to that were published this year, and hopefully I will get to in 2026. Without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it ends in the dark. I will be in daylight for the next video. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon.